What is up, you guys? It is your boy John, the voiceover guy here from Puma Plow. How's everybody doing? Welcome back to another On the Farm episode 96. Aren't you guys impressed? I know what episode it is. Oh, it's because it says it at the top of my screen. That's why. Just saying, as I'm editing, voicing, you know what I mean. All right, so we are out in the asparagus patch, and this was actually one of our, I don't know what you want to call it, early spring days here. It was hot. It was warm. It was very, very warm. Not so much at this point in the day, but later on in the day, it got up to about 75, 80 degrees, somewhere in there. We've had some ridiculously warm spring-ish days here, even though, like, right now it's pretty cold out there, but that's another story. So if you guys recall, or if you guys know or didn't know, when you have asparagus, you need to cut it down every spring. We harvest our asparagus in the spring. You could harvest in the fall, but we harvest in the spring, which means come spring, first thing you do is go out and cut off all the old growth. And basically the reason you only harvest your asparagus spring or fall is the rest of the time it needs to feed the roots, basically. So yeah, that's what all this growth is. This is from last summer, last fall, until the winter kind of burns it back and it goes dormant for the winter. And so yeah, you need to get rid of all of this, otherwise you would never see your asparagus coming up to actually cut it and what you would quote harvest. So out here cutting the asparagus with the gas-powered head shears. It's a pretty good tool for this. The only downside to this is that you have to bend over to use it. Back in the day we used to use what was called a reciprocator, and it was kind of the same thing, but it was round, and it was at the end of like a trimmer shaft. So imagine like a string trimmer, but with like a round blade, two blades that went back and forth, reciprocated back and forth, and cut everything. That was like the ideal tool for this job. That thing was awesome. We never owned it. It was from where Dad works, and that's where this gas-powered head shear is from as well. And so, you know, we only take it down there basically twice a year. We cut our hollyhocks down in the garden with it, and we cut our asparagus down every spring with it. So the asparagus, it's hard to say if it's actually going to start greening up soon and actually start producing asparagus. Like I said, we had a little bit of like taste of spring here, taste of summer almost, and it has gone back the other way now and a little cooler, but we're getting temperatures in the probably 60s, 70s every day now, and it won't be too long. We will have asparagus, honestly, I think. And it's, you know, it's all about how fast does the ground warm up. Well, look at this ground now. Obviously, before we cut the asparagus, it was completely shaded out. But now that the asparagus is cut, this gets full sunshine all day long. And the dirt here is our leaf mulch that we make, which is kind of dark, so that will soak up sun, you know. Obviously, it'll make it a little bit warmer, so this usually gets going pretty early. It does take a while to get the heat down and get the asparagus plants, you know, kind of woken up in the spring, but we'll have asparagus before too long. We will definitely have asparagus before too long. So what do we do with all of this? Well, you guys know from last year, we burn it. We could run it through a shredder, we could compost it, but nothing's better than a good fire, right? And actually, the problem with burning asparagus is it's literally a flash fire. It's about 3 minutes long, and then you're done. So we will, of course, get to see some of that here in a little bit. But basically, using the old pitchfork and just carry it all over to the garden. That is the pumpkin patch, right next door here, just across that little grass strip. And, you know, doesn't hurt to burn anything out there, no big deal. Normal years when we would plant oats or rye, we would, you know, not be able to burn out here, of course, because you wouldn't want to burn your oat or rye. But because we didn't plant anything this year, hey, we can have the biggest fire that we can have as big of a fire as we want, and it will not hurt a thing. Will not hurt a thing. So that'll be pretty cool. And yeah, you guys can see that, I don't know, the grass hasn't quite greened up here yet. It is greening up though, just like around town and everything. Like I saw one yard that totally needed to be cut. It was like a zoysia yard. It had zoysia grass and totally could have been cut in town, but it's going to be a little while yet before guys get serious into it. And down at the farm, I have cut grass with the John Deere like 3 different times. Not the whole yard. I'm basically going out and just kind of knocking down what we left along last fall. Because, you know, it comes to a point in the fall where it's like, okay, I'm done cutting grass. So there's that. All right, so here it is all piled up, guys, and a little bit of fire from the old torch. 1, 2, and sure, 3 spots for good luck. Why not? And you can see already it is spreading quite dramatically. Now here's a bit of an issue that I noticed with this footage. I had the GoPro pointing too low. Now, that is a problem with this old GoPro, is there's no way to check what it's seeing. This is a GoPro Hero 2, and until I get a new GoPro and a smartphone, there's no way to tell. So, the camera's could be a lot higher here. But that's okay. That's just me picking on myself for what I have done. It's not really a big deal, but you can see it was literally just a couple minutes later, that edit right there, and there's nothing left basically. So trying to clean up a few of the pieces that didn't burn, throwing them back in. It was incredibly hot. The fire, of course, fire's hot, in case you guys didn't know. Life lessons by John. You're welcome, Internet. The more you know. Need the rainbow. Anyway. Fire is hot. I think that's the line of this video. Fire is hot. Holy jumping. Holy jumping. But, yeah, just a couple minutes later here, I literally just stood there and watched it. Didn't go in the shed or anything. You know, you're supposed to stay at, at a fire that you have burning. Somebody's supposed to attend the fire. You know, you don't want to leave a fire unattended for too long. It can cause problems. Our big leaf enclosures that we have down there, where we grind all the leaf mulch up and everything, we lost about 1/3 of one of those once. Or maybe not quite 1/3, maybe 1/8 of one of those once to fire. And, stuff happens, right? But you got to be careful. All right, so literally a few minutes later, and that fire, I consider it done. A little bit of smoldery pile. After it smoldered for a while, it was pretty much done. And that is this video, guys. So I do appreciate you guys tuning in to another On the Farm. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like button for more. Subscribe if you have not already done so. And until next week, thanks for watching yet again. And toodles!